Alright, I'm back. Part 2. Let's go. Another day passes in a flash, and it's already time for the next club meeting. Although Monica should have come up with a plan for today's task, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem. So stupid. I let myself be the center of attention. Sayori's gonna find these kinds of feelings, and I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? This whole time I didn't think to ask her about her feelings. So much for her stupid vision. Sayori enters the club room with her usual smile. Upon seeing the downcast Monica, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern. Monica? Is everything okay? I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head. I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Sayori responds quietly. What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens, though in the silence Sayori mutters her realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that. But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Friends look out for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you're here for me. Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy. This is different. It wasn't just about you yesterday. It was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So, if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monica massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable that Sayori isn't ready to share certain things, but as unfair as it for Monica to pry, it's also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of a friend. I'm sorry I looked. I disrespected your privacy. No, I don't blame you for looking. You wouldn't have at least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah. Monica takes a deep breath. Okay. I understand that you don't want me to worry. I think I'll be able to put this aside so we can move on. But can you promise me something? Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the literature club. It's a place where people can express themselves in the ways that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Write the way into your heart, or whatever. So, I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be like that. Sayori smiles gently. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns Sayori's smile. I promise. Me too. As the conversation closes, the mood in the room is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed with the club activities. So, why teach me about poetry? Huh? But what about the recruitment? It's fine. We have plenty of time for that. Right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, do I have to fulfill my end of the promise? You know? There's no way I could say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. That's fine. I think I just need, some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. You kind of just need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You're going to have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things it makes you think of. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story. You can get your feelings down first, then make it sound pretty later. It's not like building a railroad where you get from one end to another. It's more like a collage where you need all the things you want to put in and then you arrange them in a pretty way. At least that's how I do it. It's not like it's the only way. But it's really good way to not get stuck right at the beginning. I understand. Yeah, I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's actually important. Monica pulls out a pen and paper and starts writing. Stop being a perfectionist, you idiot. I'm just kidding. Monica scribbles out, you idiot, after she writes it down. No, keep it. What? Why? You call me an idiot? No, of course not. But the point is that you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? Be as dramatic as you want. But I was just... Well, yeah. Underneath the scribble, Monica rewrites, you idiot, and stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and I did the exact thing anyway. This is really gonna take some getting used to. I believe you. Thanks, I do too. Me. But also you, of course. Monica continues the exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprising quite a struggle to write without overthinking it. But after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively. Peppered with all of her random thoughts. Phew. Monica looks up and down at her sheet. Gosh. I feel so intense looking at this. I hate it. But it's also kind of liberating. I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems. Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to try really, really hard at it. But I think it's something that I enjoy doing. With you. Sayori beams. I'll stop here, but we still have time. Let's try to work out a new flyer for the club. I won't be picky about the language. Yes, let's do it. Monica and Sayori proceed with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so does their essence of the literature club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Another day passes. As usual, Monica is the first one to the club room. With her is a printout of the revised literature club flyer, complete with all new ideas Monica and Sayori came up with. If only there was a flyer we gave to the one we go the other day. It's so much more attractive than the old one. But the new catchphrase is featured clearly in the center of the file. Write the way into your heart. Surely common sense would say the one writes from the heart, not into the heart. But the message being delivered is that the one that can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully Monica and Sayori had thought that would be enough to garner some curiosity from students. Why do I feel so tense by looking at this? Monica looks back to the previous meeting when she performed her writing exercise. Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be present if I can't demonstrate what the club is even about? The literature club is truly beginning to take form. But with that, the weight on Monica's shoulders could only become heavier. Debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monica was so good at it. It existed entirely within our realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself for real. Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs her pen. She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the paper. But her hand doesn't move. Instantly, a tiny blot ink drops from the pen on her paper. Monica lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she's impelled to run her finger across it. As she does, the black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monica's canvas. Ugh. Out of spite of herself, Monica presses her pen down again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monica. Just move your hand. Monica writes. This is what I get for seeking perfection. A stain. Monica slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. The air conditioner seems louder today. I'm here. Hi. Monica hears Sayori approach her desk, then stops for a second, probably reading a piece of paper. Then she sits down at the adjacent desk. Bad day? Me too. You too? The new flyer looks so good. You've been working so hard. On the club, but also something else, I think. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard to just be vulnerable. Sayori takes the sheet of paper from Monica's desk. She writes something down, then stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. You trust me with anything. Sayori gazes at Monica with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the signal, Monica takes the paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. Sometimes I want to die. Sayori. This is really, really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So if I can do it, then you can too. Because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I've never told anyone before. Even now, my head is like screaming at me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday. I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe it's a part of the reason I came to this club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you. More than I'm scared. At those words, Monica stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Where Monica's own futile but genuine efforts actually pushed that Sayori needed. Sayori's deliberate breaths can be heard over the air conditioner. She prepares herself to continue. Monica waits in gentle smile. I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you could just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kinds of thoughts that I have. It's so much easier to just smile and help everyone else be happy. That's terrible. That's what Monica wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like whenever I'm not smiling, everybody would worry about me and ask what's wrong. I know that, because it used to be like that. Suri pauses, seeming to recall something in the past. I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And letting people look inside my head doesn't bring happiness to anyone. Suri pauses again, her solemn expression making her almost like an entirely different person. How did you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried I'll be one of those people, too. I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this. But another part of me, I think I just felt like it could be different this time. Whenever we talk about the club, it's supposed to mean I kept feeling like this is right for me to do. Especially after You've been trying so hard to express yourself, too. It just made me feel like I could say it in confidence, and our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly. The club is only 2 people. It already means this much to me. Monica feels a tightening sensation in her heart, a feeling that of connection as Sayori's emotions radiate between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're brave, Sayori. You're strong and brave. I don't even compare. Monica stepped forward. But if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy. If you like. Wordless, without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on Monica's shoulders. Through their contact, Monica can feel the torrent of thoughts swimming Sayori's head. In this moment, enchanted by the air of the club, Monica realizes that all the days that have passed, this is one where she really, really hopes that nobody new walks through the door. She speaks softly. You're like the sweetest girl I've ever met. You can say anything, and I'll never judge you. I promise. Sierra's breath begins to quiver. She takes several deep breaths, trying as hard as she can to start speaking, to say the things she never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks in a choked voice. I'm so worthless. I'm worthless, and everyone would be better off without me. She suppresses a sob as a tear falls down her cheek. I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything. It just feels like everyone just has to put up with me, and I hate it. I hate it. The more Siri speaks, the more she fails to control her voice, falling victim to the overwhelming sadness clutching at her throat and chest. I don't want to have these thoughts. I don't want them to go away. And now I'm making you put up with me, and I just want to die. And as soon as Sari loses her composure, Monica is determined to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sari needs right now, so she won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through as soft and gentle. This isn't putting up with you. It's just being your friend. Monica offers a few words of comfort, but she knows. Sari said it herself. The thoughts Sari experiences are ones that don't belong, and Monica can't magically make them go away. The most she can do is help Sayori battle them, like any good friend would do. You have so much value to me and your other friends too. This club wouldn't have been the same without you. I really, really mean that. You coming here was the best thing that could have happened. Even if we never get any other members, I would still be happy. That's what you brought here. You brought us a vision and also brought happiness. And that's your favorite thing to do, right? Siri doesn't respond, but Monica feels her head and gentle. No more words are needed between them. The two share their embrace for a while longer, Monica letting Sari take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles finally fully cease, Sari lifts her head and wipes her eyes. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to talk something important. Alright, bye guys. Stay